Good afternoon, Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at t3live.com. It is Monday, 2 weeks until Labor Day. While the big traders are away, I guess the Bulls will play. I just had a little funny saying in my note this morning, like, will the Bulls or the Bears play? First 15 minutes, boom, you had a quick move lower, got some people out, but we did hold the Spiders at 208 and change, so thank goodness. You know, a lot of us stuck to our guns, and if you were on the virtual trading floor, you saw, basically came in, bought the Spiders, bought some Apple, bought the pull in MBLY, and also started accumulating some positions as the day, unfolded. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow's the type of day that I've done this many different times, and instead of just taking a really good day, I get sideswiped. But for some reason, my gut's telling me perhaps this can continue. All right, two dynamics I just want to talk about is one, on my radio, I've been talking about how recently the first 15 minutes of the day, usually the first 2-3 minutes are real strong because that's when the mutual funds put their orders in on the close and that flow gets moved. But then the next 10-15 minutes when no corporate buybacks are allowed to happen because, most covenants don't let you do it in the first 15 minutes or 30 minutes. And that's sort of the same way usually the last 15 to 30 minutes are so weak at the end of the day. Like, oh, why did things just fall apart? Because corporate buybacks can't happen if they're above the VWAP. So all of a sudden, 10 o'clock rolled around, we held the morning low, things started to build. Basically, there's probably more corporations doing mechanical buybacks than there are people selling this market. So perhaps with that dynamic, we drift up, and then as charts start to look better, which we start to see a few of them, even traders start to jump along, and that could perhaps give us a little bit of a better tape while everyone is at the beach. Anyway, here's a chart of the Spiders. We'll see what happens. Here's big support going across the board. Here was your red dog reversal. You remember that red dog reversal that actually had some commitment to it. I'm going to actually probably wind up putting this in my in my next presentation, showing you how the Bears had all the ball in their hand. They could have ran down the field, could have closed us on the lows, and they lost it. And that was right when we took back that 2062 to 2067. Okay, and then you take a close look here now. Does it mean that we have to break out? Because obviously volume was horrendous. Does it mean that we could be in a tremendous run? All I know is that we talked about this little spot and this little spot. So as an active day trader, if you isolated to 2080, which was support, and then a pivot resistance at 2092, which was the 2-day high, and you got long through that, you made really good money today. Who cares what happens tomorrow? If you took it off, you're done, you're in there. You played the low end of the range through a pivot, and now it closed near a higher end of another range. Okay, here we go again. Another range, so to speak. Another point of reference here at around 2105. So this will be the next obstacle to see if it gets through tomorrow. But for today, if you watch my morning call and you read my note that has all the actionable ideas, or basically you knew this pivot. And hopefully you knew how to trade it. I did go over it in the Spiders. Spiders did hold above this little mini pivot low here. And then the price to get through was right there, which was 209.55. And then you closed today at 210.56, which is another dollar higher. So if you bought it in the hole or you waited to here, you had a nice day while everyone was at the beach. Here's your red dog reversal right there, on that Wednesday. And then here is the top third of the range that showed some commitment to it. So right there, a 4-day methodical move. Now we'll see what happens tomorrow, okay, with the upper end of the range. If people were cheating to try and see if you can catch a move back towards the upper end of the range, this spot was your spot to get in, versus with the idea that this, reversal pattern would stick. And now we'll see where we go tomorrow. If it's down tomorrow, we get a leg sweep. I guess it is what it is. If we get a little bit of follow through, that would be nice. You did see a decent day in the bios, which is helpful. The bios have big support right here, a little vulnerable. Finally today kind of engulfed a little bit of this range. So you need the bios in the game to kind of help out, with, I guess, psychology for this tape to go. And, this does has some room, back up to this little area before big resistance comes in. So we'll see what happens. The Russell also ignited a little bit today. If you did get long on this red dog reversal on this day, Wednesday, and you held through, you just got some follow through, and we reclaimed the 200 day. So wow, reclaimed the 200 day. So, does it break this descending type channel here? I'm not so sure, but if you traded it on an active basis, red dog reversal here, commitment to it, took out this 3-day pivot, boom. Now we'll see what's next there. So a little bit better. Some guys are playing the home builders. I haven't played this in a while. What a sneaky move here. What is this? XHB. Boom, look at that. 52-week highs in the home builders. Nobody's really talking about that, or at least I haven't been listening. And what is it? Started above the 8 and 21 day here, well before the indices, and broke out to new highs. Goes to show you, be long stuff above the 8 and 21 day, not below the 200 day. But anyway, home builders at highs. What did the banks do today? Digested. So banks look okay. So things are starting to add up. Plus you had the oil that had a little bit of a bid, sold off, and the XLE and the XOP still kind of held around. So, not a headwind. So you look here at the XLE, pretty interesting, right? You had your little red dog reversal here. This is when it broke above the small pivot, pulled in methodically, and now you have almost a little bit of a flag here. Okay, so we'll see a little bit of upside would be helpful. Some think this is a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders pattern that could give you a move above this to then retest that, and that would help the broader market. And that's what the market needs. It needs some participation from the laggard groups to come off the lows, and then some leadership groups to point the way. So if you're looking for leadership, the leadership stocks, you know what, let's see what Google did. Google, as hard as it is to trade, one of these days I'm going to have it and it's going to gap up and give me an easier trade. As of right now, it held this gap, poked its head. I'm long overnight. We'll see what happens. Okay. Next spot should be this 704. And the question is should. We'll see. And then you have the highs here. Gap up held, 8-day caught up. You would think that after this big gap held, that you have another one. Maybe you could actually make some money from a day into the next without having to hold it through crazy noise. Amazon also went over today. It's starting to poke its head up. Still held the majority of this gap. Looks like it hasn't really done anything since earnings. So why couldn't this go up a little bit too if it wanted to be a leader? So Amazon and Google are still in the game. Netflix, we'll see what happens. Kind of lagged a little bit today, but overall this chart looks great. Doesn't this chart look a little bit like it looked right here? Right? Big moon down, over, sideways, and then this took out 115, and then it went for highs. So you look fast forward to where we are now. So it does kind of seem like it could take this out and then see new highs here above the 8-day. Lots of momentum. Obviously, you have to be a little bit more skeptical with base on bases, but overall, hard to fight this trend, especially when something's above the 8 and the 21-day, when the markets and a lot of indices are just reclaiming that 200. So this still looks strong. As far as Apple, that was one of my early longs for the day. I was thinking that we can get a move back to at least a 200-day. This is your EMA 200-day. The simple is even a little bit higher. It did clear this small pivot, which to me was 116.40, and didn't close great, but we'll see what happens next. It'd be nice to see this test 119 at some point, and then maybe even push a little bit above it. That would be healthier. You still have the lower end of the channel all the way up here, which is around 123. So if it wants to continue up while everyone's away, maybe the buyback keeps it going, even if especially with the spiders. So nice red dog reversal in Apple that has if you've got long here at a 112.10. You're doing really good these 4 days. Not much to worry about. If you got long and sold a little bit and said, "Ooh, my goodness, it just held higher, closed okay on Friday. Let me stay with it," you're also in there. You can do it many different ways. If you pressed this day short and didn't cover on this reversal, now you're like, "Oh my goodness, what do I do now?" You must be listening to some bears on Twitter that told you to press here for a move down to sub 100. But anyway, it reversed here. That's when the bears lost a little bit of control in Apple. Now we'll see if it goes a little bit further to at least test that 200-day. As far as Facebook, very, very tight, took the day off. Some think that you got to be shorted because it showed relative weakness today. I don't know. I just think maybe it needed another day. Here's your red dog reversal 91.80, held in there. This does not have a corporate buyback, so maybe the guys that buy Facebook are on the beach. But anyway, I did nibble in some, and tomorrow if it gets above this 94.70-ish, perhaps you get a nice trade to at least 96, and then at some point, if the market wants leadership again, this is in the game for that. So worth noting. MBLY, congratulations to all of you guys who have this in the draw. Congratulations. I've been talking about this since last year. Last year I started talking about it and I didn't understand what was going on here, except for, first year of becoming public, you have to get the stock in the right hands and get the story out there. But anyway, did a red dog reversal down here, broke the descending channel right there. This is when I listed the chart on Twitter saying I do think you could either trade this or put this in the drawer. I think it's a special name right around even when Ron Barron was talking about it. And boom, look where you are now. Took out the old highs, then held above it, gave you a nice clean trade today on volume. You know what? This is pretty, pretty chart, good company. Who knows? Maybe it could be north of 80 or so. But at this point, cleared it on volume. Good book says take some. I'm in some. Hopefully you've been in it in your, your longer term account ever since we started to really focus on it. And at this point, you got a little paid. Tesla gapped up, didn't do a heck of a lot, but a lot of people were questioning why they did this, because people were stuck in the secondary, they wanted to sell it, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, I didn't really trade it today. It was a little weaker than stronger. It did fill this gap and then sold off and reversed up, and I guess you could say it's in the game, maybe traded versus this gap here of 250.51. Kind of fugazi how it closed weak, and Morgan puts a huge target on it just to make sure it squeezes the shorts. I don't know, something down the road might happen or come out on that, but at this point, it is what it is. Here is that descending channel, which we spoke about also, and it broke above it. And if you weren't long Tesla into that upgrade, I didn't see why you would be anyway, after this break here. So now maybe it's reborn, and we could put it back on the go-to list, and it'll be fine. We'll see. What else? What's Goldman doing? Held the 200-day. Looks okay. What's Citigroup doing? Hanging in there. Some of these banks are at least showing commitment to the reversal here, and now at some point perhaps they break these small little descending channels to go higher, but they're not so in vogue right now because people still don't know when liftoff's going to be. Maybe it is, after September, maybe not, or maybe in September. As of now, we're not sure. Fed minutes will be Wednesday. FSLR looks pretty good, right? FSLR. Big gap up after earnings. Hasn't really done anything. Hasn't done anything since. If you're thinking that we get some follow through in some things at all, this is a candidate for some follow through. It's got to reclaim the 200-day. So see what the story is there. Big gap up shows some pro interest, but now it's got to get above this 52.50 to continue. What else were people looking at today? Some guys caught a little bit of a bounce in Disney, which is nice to see, good to help the broader market. Here is that reversal low, held higher, got above this small little pivot, has some room up to about 111 if it wants to. What else? What did Under Armour do today? Under Armour above the 8-day, looks like it could probably make new highs at some point. Some guys are looking at this ZIOP after getting crushed. I guess if you sold it when it engulfed this whole move, maybe you try a little bit in the hole, but this looks somewhat broken to me. And gold, guys are still, they were talking about drunken Miller. Not drunk, that's not nice, drunken Miller. Drunken Miller. Increases gold stake in the second quarter. I don't know. Looks to me as if it's trying to go sideways a little here. Maybe it has another move back to retest that 109 area that it broke. This was your spot to be long. Now, anytime it's looked like it was going to get follow through, it's been, kind of sold off. So we'll see what happens next here. I still don't think gold. I still think it's a better sell than a buy. So we'll see. And lastly, what did TLTs do today? TLTs, gave you that real nice move off the lows. Off of this little spot, this nice little triangle. It held support when it looked like it should have broken down. So it came up, held higher, and now it's hovering a little bit above the 8-day. I think up here it's a better sell than a buy, but what do I know? We last time we really told people to get out of the way was when it broke this accelerated trend here or broke the intermediate trend there. As it broke below the 8 and 21-day there, the 8 and 21-day there. So if you got out of the way and bought it here and you're still trailing it, keep it as long as it, stays above this 122. And then you'll figure out what's next. But if it were to break this trend here, I would say, kind of get out of the way. But for now, if you're still trailing it, just trail it small. And with all that said, it's Monday. Tomorrow we have Amelia. She's coming back in as Brittany is away on leave because she is due in September. And we got a nice surprise today. Some stocks look set up, and they still do. Indices poked its head above that descending channel here. Typically, tomorrow is the day that all of us who are still in some loans get our clocks clean. But if the action continues to drift higher, if you have some overnights, you deserve to get paid. If you took things off because you wanted to book a day and tomorrow we open up, you can't be upset. And if you did take some things overnight to get paid when we open down, it's part of the game. So figure out which game you want to play, keep making moves, stay prepared, use your resources, watch the morning call every day. It's for free. And if you want something a little bit more thorough, buy my note. Has 20 to 30 ideas on there every single day, Monday through Thursday, with if-thens, the indices. So it's not, and that's not a month, that's for the year. So go to the front page of t3live.com and you'll see actually what you get with it. But anyway, I'm not here to pitch that. I just know that a lot of people are frustrated out there, and I do write this thing every single day. That's why I'm up at 4:45. It's as real time could be, and it's very actionable, and it's pretty much putting my game plan on paper for everyone to put in front of them. And if you can take a few things from it, make it your own, and you agree with it, hopefully that gives you conviction to do it as well. Have a good night. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.